Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls 3. You might notice I'm looking a tad bit different. It's because I gotta keep changing up the fashion souls. So I grinded out a bunch of the Black Knight gear from the Great Axe Black Knight in the Road of Sacrifices. And unfortunately, I don't quite have the equip load to wear all of it and retain my fast roll. So we just have to find a different badass looking configuration of attire to keep our fashion souls on point. So, a detour was promised, and there is gonna be one, but we got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of. First, there's the matter of something that I missed because I am completely blind and just missed this set of stairs. Forgot this was here. Right off the path, the main path leading to the boss. And up here, it's a whole nother floor with an NPC.
Well, this is unexpected. I don't often have visitors. What do you want? This is my study that you've happened upon. If you haven't any business, I've reading to get back to. How intriguing. Very well. Indeed, I am a sorcerer, with plenty to share. However, what champion demands service without recompense? Clearly, you're not that sort of man. So you will make me a promise that in exchange for my teaching, you will bring me knowledge in the form of scrolls detailing sorcery's secrets. Well, can you assure me of this? Very well. You're no fool. I take it you understand the weight of a promise. I am Orbeck, of Vinheim, unkindled one. I shall teach you sorceries. We will learn together. It shall be like our very own school.
Orbeck of Vinheim does not come back to Firelink Shrine unless your intellect is high enough. And he is the sorcery teacher. Ooh. He cast a sorcery on this table. People don't know, but float wood is actually a really useful spell. Comes in handy sometimes. Yeah, it's nice to have someone from Vinheim around again. I wonder if this guy is going to turn out to be as duplicitous as Griggs was. I just want to point out that Griggs' equipment is consistent with one of Vinheim's sorcerer assassins who would magically manipulate sound to get the drop on their targets, and Griggs was tailing Big Hat Logan. And Orbeck is wearing some stuff that is suspiciously similar looking to Griggs' attire.
That is good to see, wasn't it? Oh my. This coal is from the Undead Legion, used to forge the weapons of Farron's Abyss Watchers. A fine prize. I'm honored to be endued with it. Now I'll be equipped to infuse special gems. Praise the gods, eh? Time to put this brawn to use.
By giving Andre the Farron coal, it unlocks a bunch of new infusions that he can do, including heavy, sharp, and poison, which is strength scaling, dex scaling, and poison, respectively. Next up, oh, I should check the handmaiden's stuff. Oh, I don't have enough souls to buy what I'm looking for anyway.
Ashen one.
So, scrap that. Instead, what we'll do is we'll head over to Ludlith and look at what we could have gotten with the Crystal Sage's soul.
Returned, and a fine day it is. So, knowest thou of our 5 throne?
I was hoping he would have some more dialogue by now. So there's the Crystal Hail, which is a unique sorcery developed by extraordinary preacher twins known as the Crystal Sages. Casts a cascade of small crystal soul masses from above. Crystal soul masses have piercing qualities, and a pact said to have been formed long ago when the sages allied with the Undead Legion in order to train the sorcerers of Farron. And there's also the Crystal Sage's Rapier, thrusting sword with tiny crystals scattered across its blade, used by the Crystal Sages for self-defense. The crystals boost the magic damage inflicted by the sword, and the item discovery of its wielder, fruits of the lifetime of research conducted by the sages. this is what I got off screen with their soul. To help me farm a little bit more. To increase my item discovery, trying to farm the Black Knights for their armor.
To the Legion is an even accursed and
Nothing new from you. Before we sent Greyrat out to pilfer from the undead settlement, and we've killed a boss since sending him out, so he now has new stuff.
Oh, hello. You've come at a good time. It took some prowling, but I finally made a score. Go on, have a gander.
So now the inventory of stuff that he can sell you is much expanded. Lightning urns, kind of wish he sold golden pine resin. That's okay though. One thing, or a couple things he sells now are Pontiff Knight items. Curved sword wielded by the Pontiff's Knights, frigid spirits that linger in Irithyll. The large blade appears to be eaten away by insects, making it lightweight but also brittle. He sells a couple of different Pontiff Knight things, including the shield, I think maybe some armor too? No, just regular knight stuff for now.
Goodbye. Oh, this place is a bore. What good is thievery if you've nowhere to go? Oh, and you can keep the ring.
Alright. Just defaults back to that dialogue. We'll keep progressing Greyrat's quest as we come back to Firelink Shrine. So what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to go trade a couple of things to the crows for upgrade materials, and I'll probably just fast forward through that. Okay, we got one more order of business to attend to, and this one is a really cool one. Remember when Leonard gave us the lift chamber key last time, and it talked about meeting up with a Darkwraith? This key is going to take us to the second bonfire at the High Wall of Lothric and down to the bottom of the tower where the locked gate was. And we're going to see if we meet up with a genuine Darkwraith. The folks who followed in the footsteps of Koth or Kaith and worshipped the Abyss and tried to bring about an Age of Dark. Still alive and kicking long after the fall of Ulasil and Nulando and who knows how many other kingdoms. Not a whole lot of surviving Darkwraiths. I should expound upon their philosophy. Since humanity is akin to the Abyss, or the Dark, because the Dark Soul kickstarted humanity, well, if the first flame fades, the Age of Fire ends and the Age of the Gods goes with it, and the Dark takes over. And you can twist that and view it as the dawning of the Age of Dark, or the Age of Man, or humanity, since it's inextricably linked to the Dark. We know bad stuff follows the spread of the Abyss, but we also know the curse and hollowing follows naturally from the Age of Fire. Maybe, just maybe, the Darkwraiths have it right, and the Age of Fire needs to finally end. Then again, it's all cyclical in this universe, and there's some evidence that the Age of Dark ending from Dark Souls 1 may have been the canonical ending anyway. And there were probably several periods of the first flame fading, giving rise to an Age of Dark, and then somebody comes along, reignites the first flame, and sacrifices themselves to link the fire and start a brand new era. Again, cyclical, kind of difficult to pin down concretely. Yeah, there he is. Leonard was not lying. These guys are so fucking badass. Oh, kind of teleported him back into backstab position as he was turning around. Woo! And there's that dope shield, the Dark Hand. Woohoo! And he emits the best noise when he pulls out and tries to block with it. For killing him, we get an entire Red Eye Orb. Cracked Red Eye Orbs are limited use, and they're what you use to invade the worlds of other people. A full Red Eye Orb allows for unlimited invasions. Defeat the host of embers of the world you have invaded to gain the strength of fire. The red-eye orb is rooted in a tiny land swallowed by darkness long ago. Some choose to put the orb to other uses to embark on this path and enter the service of Rosaria in the Cathedral of the Deep. So yeah, single use versus unlimited uses. That, Rosaria, we're gonna be meeting her, and we're gonna be finding out a little bit more about her covenant as well. There's some stuff surrounding her and her followers specifically. Can't go too into detail yet. We're still so early in the game that I feel like I'm saying that all the time. But we'll flesh things out. In fact, we're gonna flesh some pretty big stuff out now, because if you recall, we killed High Priestess Emma here in the dancer's room, which triggered the dancer's fight, and Emma also dropped the Basin of Vows, which said to place it beneath the statue of a beheading knight. I feel like that's one of the most convoluted and obtuse ways to drop a ladder in all of video games, but the ladder finally drops, and where the ladder leads is to the late game. Lothric Castle is up here. Not all of Lothric Castle is available to us, and the main thing that I wanted is gated away for the time being, but we can still do some late game stuff and get a few goodies. That guy is a huge badass. We're gonna wait for him to slowly make his way over to me and then run away. Old Dark Souls trick is simply to run away and grab the item and back down. Just run away. Yes, soul for our troubles. A really pretty view as we're fleeing, which makes it worth it to be a coward all by itself. That's not the path that we came up here for, though. What we want is this path. This, of course, does not open from the side. That'll be a shortcut later. This leads down to an optional route, though. And a Cathedral Knight. One of the coolest looking knight enemies in the whole game. Oh, almost missed a backstab opportunity. Cathedral Knight guards the path to the area that we want to be in. This place that we're heading to, by the way, is completely optional. It's pretty short, but it is nasty. As are many of the enemies in it, and the particular enemy guarding it. He's a very big gut check. If you can't get past him, you're not even close to ready for what waits for you down there. This is going nice, though. He is not even getting a chance to enchant his weapon, which is where he gets really troublesome. And judging by the large Titanite he drops and some of the Titanite that we're going to get down here, by the way, make sure, because there's an opening, make sure to keep a lookout to jump off the elevator halfway through. Gives you an idea of where and when you're supposed to be in this area. And there's another drop we can make for some goodies, I think Titanite chunks. Yes, indeed. The 3rd tier upgrade material. This swamp is fucked. because that's not poison. That's poison's big, pissed off older brother, Toxic. The soil of the garden, the consumed king's garden, is completely foul and covered in toxic. I have no items to deal with the toxic, so this could get pretty wonky. It's almost assured that I'm gonna die at least once because I will definitely become afflicted with toxic. And I have no good way to cure it at this point. We can game plan for that, though. Oh, fuck. Okay. Do something. I don't have access to a kick with this S-Dock, so I can't even blow his guard open. Now that his mace is enchanted, you son of a bitch. That's not even a backstab. I probably made up for the damage. Probably covered what he healed. Now that his mace is enchanted, every time he slams the ground with it, it leaves this little explosive behind. Like one of Cinder's bombs. Also, I believe, since his weapon's now enchanted, it's going to do partial chip damage through my shield because it's got some kind of magical effect. Now he's deciding to be a real huge pain in the ass, this Cathedral Knight. A lot of nastiness going on in this very tiny little area. This is good, this is good. Oh no. I'm surprised that one pus of man down there can't hit me from where he is. Yeah. I'm gonna try to collect everything on one pass. That was my game plan. I'm gonna collect everything in one pass. I'm just gonna eat the toxic, and I'm definitely gonna die and try to make sure that I've cleared everything up enough that I can avoid toxic on my second go around. This is what I was looking... that's not even worth it! That's what I was looking for before the... there are a bunch of slugs underneath the raised platform where we fought the knight. They don't do anything particularly nasty. We get the shadow garb under here. And human pine resin. We're already afflicted with toxic, so spending more time in that blight does not actually matter. Just trying to clean up all the items scattered around the garden, because there's a lot of titanite and other stuff to be found down here. Fall damage doesn't help. We got off to a bad foot in here because of the way the second Lothric Knight went, and because I kind of got turned around and missed where a few item pickups were. So the Pus of Man, it's what those enemies, the chaotic dark serpents bursting out of the hollows, are called. Like humanity gone wild in Ulasil, kinda. Makes me think that they might be experiments. The Consumed King, by the way, is the former, maybe current? I can't quite recall. King of Lothric. Goes by the name of Oceiros or Osiris. Spelled O-C-E-I-R-O-S, I think. So something held the king, Osiris, we'll just call him. Something held him in rapt attention, and whatever that something was, he became obsessed with, consumed, if you will. And this is about to be my end. Am I at least gonna... No, I definitely have nothing. Fuck. Oh well. I bid you adieu. Didn't even get it out in time. I was not close enough to open the shortcut up anyway. Wouldn't have even made a difference if I'd gotten on the elevator. What was I gonna say? So Osiris became unfit to rule, and he either abdicated his throne or he was ousted from it. And he secluded himself down here in this horrendous, blighted, putrid garden full of pusses of man, and a toxic swamp and Lothric knights looking over all of it. Whether that's to contain him or to watch over his experiments, oh fuck. Who's to say? But the pus of man, that enemy type, clearly is some kind of tie-in with the Abyss. Or a new term that the game is going to throw at us later on once we enter the Cathedral. We've actually already heard it, the Cathedral of the Deep. The Deep appears to be linked somehow to the Dark or to the Abyss as well. Just by looking at them, though, it seems pretty evident, right? A little like the out-of-control humanity in Ulasil. And aside from the obvious, there's also the fact that things that do extra damage versus creatures from the Abyss do more damage against those enemy types, the Pus of Man. Now we can come back here, collect our paltry little offering, smattering of souls, take the elevator up, unlock a shortcut, get a couple of items, and we're about done with the garden. The garden's, like I said, a really tiny little zone. Something that you have to know about Oceiros. He was a big Seath fanboy, Seath the Scaleless. One thing he was obsessed with was Seath's research. Breaking free from the cycle, immortality, all of that. If the pus of man down in the garden were research specimens, that would make a lot of sense. He also has a couple of heirs, one being a dragon-human hybrid named Ocelot. Not like the cat, but with 2 T's. And I think that name is fascinating, because it sounds like a portmanteau of Oceiros and Shanalot, especially when you see it spelled out. Shanalot being the Emerald Herald of Dark Souls 2, who was herself a child of dragons. I'm not saying that they're blood relatives, but if Oceiros was a fan of Seath and his research, it stands to reason that he'd be following Aldia's research, Aldia's experiments to create dragon hybrids, as well as cases like Priscilla's and Shanalot's. He would be treating them as case studies for his own research and his own experimentation. So with that door opened up, we can use the Dancer of the Boreal Valley bonfire as a shortcut to run back to Oceiros, who's going to be our boss. And we're probably going to need to do that, because again, this is a late game area, and I am pretty underleveled for where I'm at. Again, we're here pretty early in the game, this optional late game area. Now I'm going to step on the trigger to the pressure plate to send this elevator back up, because I missed this. Just, again, every time you're on an elevator in a Souls game, check for openings in the contraption you're riding in. Because odds are there's going to be some kind of opening that you can roll or jump out of so that you can make it onto a hidden ledge. This part's dicey. Luckily, you don't get hit with toxic while you're standing here, so that's kind of nice. I'm gonna try to get just this one guy. Oh! Now, just because he doesn't have a shield, that doesn't mean shit. These ones are actually way worse than the mace enemies, because not having a shield, they don't turtle up. They're aggressive. And they're scary. They do big-ass damage. They have a very strong weapon art, and a lot of overheads and long tracking horizontal sweeps. Ah, I think that's a third of my health. Maybe a little less. And they're not going down easily. Also, if you listen carefully, you hear this colicky wailing coming from the boss fog. Now, normally I would just skip by this enemy and bypass him completely, because there's normally no reason to fight him. But the first time that you kill this enemy... Oh, we got his helmet too. I love that helmet. It's so good looking. You also get a magic stoneplate ring, which reduces the amount of damage that you take from magic. Not a bad thing to have going into this fight.
You ignorant slaves. Finally taken notice, have you? Of the power of my beloved Ocelot, child of dragons. Well, I will not give him up, for he is all that I have.
Oceiros the Consumed King is fucking awesome. It's gonna be a running theme with a lot of bosses. Note that he has clawed out his eyes, or surgically removed them somehow. Not naturally blind, but he is eyeless. Also, I buried the lead a tiny bit with him. He is also a scaleless, eyeless pale drake, like his BFF Sif. Sif? Sorry, Sif. Woo! That's a slip. Also, look at his arm throughout this phase of the fight. That free arm, the left arm. He's clutching a child that does not appear to be there.
Dear little Ocelot, where have you gone? Are you hiding from me? Come out. Come out. Don't be afraid. You were born a child of dragons. What could you possibly fear? Now, show yourself, Ocelot. My dear little Ocelot.
He's got great voice and great delivery, too. So again, he's clutching a child that doesn't appear to be there.
Ignorant slaves.
Fuck, but
how quickly
you can hear it crying. You can hear something crying. And he's talking about... He's telling Ocelot to show himself. So it's either... It either doesn't exist and he's mad, or it's actually invisible a la Priscilla. So there's precedent for that too. Also, he's a little bit talkative, which makes him a lot like Mikolash. Let's try the Dancer's Swords out versus him. I read a theory that, and I don't know that I buy this at all, I read a theory that he might be Big Hat Logan. There's the obsession with crystal magic. There is the obsession with dragons and Seath. There's the madness. One of the biggest pieces of evidence that I've seen is that he is wielding a staff that looks just like Logan's staff. You can also get the sorcery that Logan has in Dark Souls 1 from the Consumed King's soul. Also, I don't know where this is stated or implied, but Oceiros was once a man. Supposedly, allegedly, was once a man who transformed himself into the figure of a dragon. I don't know if that's even true or not. If somebody can provide an item description or something implying that in the comments, that would be nice. It would further a theory. I don't personally buy that theory, but I do want to throw that one out there for speculation. Okay, second attempt didn't go so well with the Dancer's Swords. I did get him to phase 2, but phase 2 is where this fight actually gets tough. guess we're gonna try. It's fine, this doesn't actually hurt that much. Even doing a couple ticks, that's not even enough to phase me. I'm gonna try to roll a little bit more in this phase and shield up for the second phase. Because he's got some stuff. Fuck. One of the few bosses where standing directly under his legs doesn't necessarily guarantee safety.
Dear little Ocelot, where have you gone? Are you hiding from me? Come out. Come out.
I love how dedicated he is to this child that he fights you the entire time one-handed.
Show yourself,
Whether Ocelot is real or not, he believes it with absolute conviction. And he's not gonna stop swaddling his precious child. Even if it means handicapping himself to fight you. What a fucking badass this king is. Now, he has lost his shit entirely. And the fight becomes hectic. A little ways into phase 2 here, you stop hearing Ocelot cry. And at the beginning of that phase, you'll notice that he lobbed his Invisibaby. And there's a particle effect for when he does that. There's a very real effect that plays when he slams his swaddling arm into the ground. I'm still hearing the cry here and there, though. I usually hear it stop earlier. It's interesting. That tail whip, it looks scarier than it is. It's the attack that I would prefer him do. That charging attack is some bullshit, though. There is no time to react, and it's just... If you're in front of him, or even slightly askew to his side, you're just gonna eat it, or at best block it, and lose all your stamina. So I was saying, if not for the particle effect, I would say the crying effect is an illusion that comforts Oceiros. And it stopping is his trigger that for him to recognize that his child was always gone. And it causes him to just snap like this. There are a couple of different ways you can look at this. Either the baby being dead the whole time, or if Ocelot was alive and he was just willfully making himself invisible. Hard to say that Ocelot's alive now. I think Oceiros did something really bad to his kid. Because he asked that question, what do you have to fear? You're a child of dragons. Come out and stop hiding. What about a dad driven completely mad and consumed with some horrible obsession? That could be pretty scary. Could make you want to hide from old pops. Maybe Ocelot was used as one of Oceiros' experiments. We know that was the kind of thing that Seath was into. No matter what, it's really fucked up. And he's using the moveset that I like. Yeah, use that tail whip. It's not as fast as you think, and it doesn't hit nearly... it doesn't have nearly as many active frames as it looks like. So it's very easy to roll through. That's the one that I don't like, though. If he uses that too many more times, I don't think I'll win this war of attrition. That's okay. As long as I can block it, it's not that bad, but I can't read him telegraphing it. So I just have to... play it super cautiously. I love that. Keeps me close enough that I can get a little poke in. Wear him down, whittle him down. Oh, God. Goes completely feral in this stage. Yeah, wind up. Telegraphs are really hard. The tail whip, people are too afraid of the tail whip. It's not that bad. Oh. What are you gonna do? You gonna charge again? Yes! Yes, 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 yes! That's what I want. Woo! That took 3 real-ass attempts. Ugh. We get the soul of consumed Oceiros. Oops. Soul of Oceiros, the consumed king. One of the twisted souls steeped in strength. Oceiros went mad, trying to harness his royal blood for a greater purpose, leading him to the heretics of the Grand Archives, where he discovered the twisted worship of Seath the Pale Drake. Doesn't tell us that much that we couldn't actually infer just from looking at him or anything that I told you ahead of time, but does kind of give you a glimpse into what he was trying to, what he was so obsessed with, harnessing his royal blood. That to me reads his royal blood, his lineage, his descendants, his royal descendants. Which again reinforces my thoughts that he did something horrendous to Ocelot. And was consumed with grief to the point where he just put himself completely in denial. Oh, one of you is actually alive. It's the widow from Kingsfield. No, not nearly as horrible as the widow. I am so thankful there's no blind status effect in this. Darkness. That's very interesting, because that's not an item, that is a gesture. And you sit in the same pose, not a mimic because the chain is curled in, you sit in the same pose as the guy that you find it on, and this is an illusory wall that leads to one of the most interesting zones in the entire game. One of the ones that is going to turn everything that we know so far upside down. The Untended Graves, which we'll have to save for next time. And we will go through this zone next time. More late game chicanery. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.